it felt good. It feels good. It feels good to be able to do that. It feels super good. Yes, my last point was that learn to communicate. If you do not know how to communicate, you wouldn't know how to communicate your boundaries to the other person. So it's important for you to communicate your boundaries because everybody is supposed to have boundaries. You do not have to say yes, 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 yes all the time and let people say, pull you everywhere they want to go or they want you to go. So do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I want to talk about boundaries and standards.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
right?
nice.
Like, some people don't know their boundaries. I had
Yeah.
a conversation I was having with an individual who was a very, very nice person, and I didn't know who he was, but I just felt that he was a nice person. He was smiling
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And he was expressing the situations that was occurring. Him and a girl was talking about scenario situations, and I spoke about boundaries, and she was like, and like, people know about the word boundaries, but they haven't yet sat down with self to say, what are my boundaries when I'm dealing with people? What are my
Yeah.
boundaries when I'm dealing with relationships? What are my boundaries when I'm dealing with family members? What are my boundaries when I'm dealing with relationships, business, partners, right?
Yeah.
And being able to know what your boundaries are and being able to know self and ask those questions and answer them to yourself allows you to have more of awareness on when you do articulate or encounter, no, when you do encounter somebody that is distasteful,
Yeah.
you can respond then react, right? You can respond in the sense of red flag, green flag. That's a new one.
Yeah, right.
Red flags and green
Exactly.
flags, right?
You're gonna know your red flags and you're gonna know your green
Green
flags.
flags, right? And standards. Knowing your standards when you're dealing with your finances, knowing your standards when you're dealing with your business, knowing your standards when you're dealing with your relationships, knowing your standards when you're dealing with your health. Standards and boundaries are very important when it comes to value and your value.
uh, Chiming in on standards, there's this girl that I normally listen to. She said something about how she doesn't become friends or she doesn't like speak to people who speak negatively about themselves because
Yeah.
sometimes there's this thing that we do as girls like growing up you're like oh I don't like my this I don't like the way that I'm dressed today I'm just and then
Yeah.
somebody else is going to say something I just don't like my eyes today they just look so dark and all this and then
Yeah.
oh I just don't like my lips it's too small everybody's going to say something and then this girl is like, I don't chill with people like that. I make sure that, like, if I hear you saying something about yourself that you do not like, I'm out of your life.
Damn.
Yes. And I was like, those are the standards over there. Those are
That's
great
standards.
boundaries because you do not want to carry that. Sometimes people don't understand that as much as I have energy, if you want to come and connect with me, you have to have the same energy that I have. Otherwise, you are pulling me towards like what are we going to talk about like
Yeah.
what do we have in common besides you just like engaging in terms of like I'm pouring on you right
Yeah.
because that's what I'm going to be doing if we're not on the same level of mentality mindset energy and so on we're not
Be
going
able to
to
reciprocate it back and
yes,
forth.
and you're not going to be able to pour to me because if I'm having a conversation with a friend, I need you to pour on me and I'm pouring on you at the same time. I need us to have like a civilized conversation. If this conversation is not civilized, if the conversation is just like, what? What are you saying? I
Bimbo talk.
don't understand. Yeah, it's like, okay, now how am I supposed to, I don't cut that person off.
Yeah. I think that that's a very important. Now, there is a certain aspect of pouring into people for a moment, but
Yeah.
I know for those who are like-minded individuals, after a certain point, you do feel drained. You do feel like, okay, because you went over your limit. You
Yeah.
went over your meter. You were only supposed to sprinkle this right there. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember you're only supposed to sprinkle. You're not supposed to go, 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 go.
Yeah,
Right? And that's a lot of times what we do as as givers and as creators and as procreators. We realize that we're here to help others, but we don't realize that You're supposed to be sprinkling. Right? When they say
Yeah.
plant the seed, plant the seed.
Yeah.
Don't over drench individuals who are not all the way there yet, right? Because you feel drained afterwards. You're only supposed to sprinkle because, like she was saying, having the standards of someone that's down talking themselves in front of you, and you like, yo, look, let me tell you this. You got to do some shadow work because number one, what you're doing right now is you're talking against yourself, and you are a creation. You are the creator. You are a reflection of the creator.
Yeah.
So if you're supposed to have power and dominion over everything, I don't think the creator is expecting you to talk against yourself when you're supposed to be talking for yourself
Right.
and talking, uplifting yourself. But how can you uplift others if you can't do it for yourself? Right?
Exactly.
And so if that person is like, yo, you know what, you're right. I'm about to go start writing affirmations out, then that's a different whole conversation, right? But if you see the patterns continues over and they're not actually doing the work and they're not actually getting to that point, you have to stay a distance.
Yeah.
You have to stay a distance. And they have to see you from a distance, and then they have to change their life. Sort of like what we do with celebrities and people that we admire, right?
Yeah.
We watch them from a distance until we align our vibration to a higher standard,
Yeah.
to a higher vibration until our paths meet. Right? And then you're like, oh, I remember when I was on the other side and I was watching you, and then like, yeah, I was like, no, that would be nice to meet you. And then like, look at today, you know, a decade later, I see you, or half that time, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that is what my wife wanted. I think that's me chiming in on that aspect of people, of your standards, you know, and the people can't have a like-minded or more or over your like-mindedness, then there's no development. You will eventually start to be what the outside is reflecting, right?
Yeah, I just remember the conversation we had yesterday about the family we visited a while back, and then we were chilling over there, and then there was literally no uplifting conversation. There was like nothing going on in terms of just like speaking life into each other. So we were sitting yesterday, and then we were thinking about that. We were like, we were sitting and we were talking about it, and we were like, well, like what was we doing over there? There was a point where we were asking ourselves like, what are we doing here? Like we shouldn't be here. Like we're not, you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on over here, so I think we should just like go, you know.
Yeah.
It was sad though because the family has great energy and we love them and stuff like that. But when we were chilling with them, it was like, what is it? What is this right now? You know, what kind of gathering is this? So we had to like, you know, bring the energy, and after that was it.
It was the question.
But it was kind of hard to bring up the energy because it was like, what are we talking about? Why are we here? Like there's no civilization conversation, and there's no motivational conversation. We're not pouring into each other, but we are just like going
drifting
on and on. Yes.
It was a drifting state. Like we thought to self the same thing. Like it was different times we didn't express it to self, but I felt at a certain point like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like this situation is occurring and we're not exchanging delicious conversation, and we're just kind of like drifting at this point. And it was like, what are we doing? You know, just like is this fulfilling? Am I getting a fulfilling situation? No, it's a satisfaction.
You want to respect your time too.
Yeah, respecting time too, and being conscious of that as well. That was
Because you could be doing something else. You could be reading a book. You could be doing something helpful, something that's going to help you learn, something that's motivational, positive. Doing it with your family instead of just like sitting over there and it's like, what is going on? You know, like why am I here? But yeah, just have boundaries and choose the type of people you want to hang around with. You know, if people don't want to change, you're not obligated to be with those individuals.
Facts.
Yeah, you have to like drift yourself away a little bit, not in a bad way. Now, don't go to people and say, you're not in my standards anymore. Don't do that, but just like, pull yourself away and just work on yourself. And they'll feel that, they will see that. And if they want to do it, you'll feel the connection too.
Sometimes
other people do say stuff.
Yeah, sometimes you do have to separate yourself from lower vibrational people, man. You get people who like want to throw funk and shade and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
they don't really have much going for themselves. They don't really have a point of direction on their goals and aspects of things. And that's fine too, you know, that's not to shit on anybody, but at the same time, being very careful who you surround yourself around, because not everybody's opinion is always a high standard, you know. And if we're here to uplift each other and raise each other's standards, then and one is not following that, then obviously they have to be cut off. It's like, you know, I'm not going to entertain certain aspects and certain mindsets on things that are irrelevant, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you have a better conversation, then why are you not making a video about it? Why are you not sharing your ideas? Oh, because you don't have the time, or because you just don't have shit to say either, you know? And that's fine too. And saying that, being surrounded by communities and people that are on that and can have high level conversations allows the stimulation to happen, man. Allows us to raise the next generation on those conversations than having dim-witted ass conversations. I think dim-wit conversations, there's a such thing of like, you know, like, oh, it's nice outside and things like that, but life is more in depth than that. Yeah, you got a lot of people like, oh, you're going too deep, you're going too deep. It's like, no, man, you're going too light, you're going too light. You know what I'm saying? You're not really appreciating and taking the value of how great life is. You know, you got your legs, you know what I'm saying? You could be not having your legs tomorrow or at the end of the day. Yo, I was driving the other day ago, and there was a lot of traffic. You know, Austin is having a lot of construction and stuff, and I'm driving, and I just so happened to notice on my left-hand side that there was a biker who got hit by a car. Bike total, he's on the ground, EMS is there, and I'm sure he didn't think that I'm gonna go outside, drive my motorcycle, and get hit today.
Yeah.
Let me not get on the motorcycle today. And it just happens that much. He might be crippled for the rest of his life. He might have broken. He might not. He might walk away. Oh, there it is. He might walk away with everything fine and dandy. But it's the moral of the story is like, don't go too light on thinking about how life is, man. There's a lot of beautiful things that the point of being patient and the point of being present is to acknowledge those things, man. Acknowledge them. Yo, acknowledge those things, because life can be really shallow, and it can also be one of those things where you're only focusing on all the negative shit. Or you're only focusing on shit not happening or things not manifesting. Like, how many things can you go to your to-do list or your goals and check off and say, I did that?
Yeah.
You know? And a lot of people are like, yo, I ain't thinking about that shit. It's like, yeah, that's right. That's why you still where you at, and you're going to be there 5 years later from now. You're going to be there 10 years later from now, because you're not thinking about, like, the overall purpose and value of life. Like, you're thinking like, I'm just living life, and it's like, living life is one thing, bro, but that also can get dull as shit.
Yeah.
It can also get super dull. You're doing the same shit different day. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, man. There's people still doing the same shit that they was doing when I was back then there. I'm saying, when the flow gonna change?
Yeah.
When it's gonna change?
Hi.
What up, though? And the thing is that you gotta be willing to want to do the change, bro. Ain't nobody about to help you change. People would rather see you doing bad. No, let me be articulate. Let me take that back. Some people would rather see you doing bad and not say nothing. They just watch you. But once you're doing something great, people got some that small percentage of people got a lot of bull crap to say. But if they saw you doing bad, they'd be like, oh, then they watching you and knowing consciously you're doing something bad, but never say nothing about it.
Yeah.
What kind of mindset is that? That's not a mindset of, if I was to say higher consciousness, if I would say God-like mind, that's not a operating high vibrational mindset, bro. You know what I'm saying? You around talking about you want to be around millionaires, you want to have the Lambo, you want to be in the Urus, you know what I'm saying? You want to drive, you want the G-Wagon, you want to do all this stuff, and you want the things, but where's the mindset that come with it? Where's the one where you talking to a brother, you know what I'm saying, and you dropping the gems, you're like, look, you're not trying to drop the gems like you're Mr. Know-It-All, but you're dropping the gems where they need to be acknowledged at.
A positive way, like positive.
You know what I'm saying? And man, I tell you what, bro, people will watch you fall and won't say a damn thing. and be all fine and dandy. But once you're doing something great,
And then they're gonna be like, "What was he thinking?"
you got a bunch of airheads.
We're not here to shine light to the negativity. However,
No.
we're talking about the standards, the boundaries, and the communication skills. How important is that? However, other people don't see it that way, right? And they don't know. Some of the people, they don't know. I didn't know until I had to do my own research, and until I had to sit down with myself and understand like what it is that's happening in my life right now. What change it? What change do I want to do? You know, or do I want to implement in my life? So I had to think about it. I had to sit down and I had to learn that I need to better my communication skills. I need to have boundaries. If I cannot communicate with someone, I'm not going to be able to deliver my boundaries to them. I also need to have standards. Like having boundaries is you having standards, because you're going to say no to certain stuff. You're going to be able to say, I cannot do that right now. You know, I cannot be there right now because I have to prioritize myself. I have to prioritize, you know, my family or my business or my job, you know, whatever it is that you have to prioritize at that time.
Yeah.
Having standards, having boundaries is you being able to say no. Yeah, is you being able to say no to certain things, and also making sure that you're communicating that in a great way, not in a like harsh way to other people. Some other people are going through something, so if you say something, they're always gonna feel a certain way, and you cannot change that. As long as you know that I'm not doing it in a certain way, so I can also text this person and check on them and stuff like that. And they will see that you didn't come at them in a bad way. So it's just bettering your communication skills and making sure that you have boundaries, and also making sure that you have great communication skills, boundaries, and what was the other one? Standards.
Standards.
Yes.
Yeah. To add on that one, and then we're gonna close this conversation out. I think another one is knowing your worth, right? Knowing your worth, and you know how you view yourself.
Yeah.
I know for me as my own personal, I emulate and to be portrayed as a person who is kind-hearted and can see people making change and can see people or speaking life into them, changing their lives, having the right words to say at that moment, and being guided in that midst of things. Also, to just being a beacon of light, beacon of hope. And two, I know one of our goals, I'm gonna share with everybody else. One of our goals is to create financial freedom for 3,000 families, man. And you know, like I'd say about 10 years ago, about 10 years ago, 7 years ago, that wasn't even in our perspective at that time. That wasn't even in our goal list. And, you know, to come up with something like that to do for others, there is a level you're gonna have to step up to. There's a level you're gonna have to step out of your comfort zone with. There's gonna be a level of you developing yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually to deal and to handle naysayers and to be that example, to be the example that you would want to see yourself as. You know, and as long as you align your standards to a version of God, you know, and how you would view yourself as a father, looking at yourself and you're like, that's my son or that's my daughter, you know, I feel like, man, like that's a sit down moment, man. That's a really sit down pivotal moment. And I think it's important that we all should align our goals with that. A lot of people just thinking about themselves, and it's not a bad thing. Obviously, you gotta
work on yourself.
You gotta work on yourself.
You gotta pour in yourself first.
But also, I think while working on yourself and pouring on yourself, if you're there to make a change, it allow you to have more purpose, right? Because you're not just here to work on yourself. By the time, if you was to leave tomorrow, accidentally,
Right.
you know, you can go out with a bang. You can go out with like, I did that. You know what I'm saying? I did that. And it sounds cliche. It does sound cliche, yo. But like at the same time, like, yo, imagine though. Just imagine if you can leave at least doing something that has changed or that has impacts in people's lives. I used to hear this from other people, and I used to be like, that would be dope, right? But I didn't align myself with actually being the person, like fully, and say I'm about to commit to it, you know? And now more than ever, it's like, dude, that matters way more. Like, obviously, my family is first, and God is first before my family and myself and stuff like that. And like, I have a stairmaster of what's the top priorities and all the way down. But outside of my family and my friends, you gotta be doing for others, man. There's other people who are so ready to receive your light.
Yeah.
And if you didn't shine your light, you wouldn't align with them at the time when they needed you to align with them.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, that's my gems, that's my drop, that's my bars. You
I
know?
think that's it, you guys.
Yeah.
That's what we are. We're about to close this chat.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
for joining.
yeah.
Thank you for commenting. YouTube, y'all were amazing today. Thank
Straight
you
up, we love it.
for Instagram. You guys were great. Thank you
Much
for
love.
Facebook. You guys were awesome. Always awesome.
Absolutely.
And
Peace,
what
blessings,
else?
prosperity, and success
are-
of abundance and
Okay,
enjoy.
wait, wait.
All right.
We are Passion Nutrition. We are open until 2 p.m. So if you know where we're located, if you do not know where we're located, we are inside For Your Fitness, and Google Passion Nutrition and you'll find your way coming here, okay? We have protein snacks, we have protein waffles, we have energy teas if you need some energy. We have some after working out if you just worked out. Come get your protein shake, 36 grams of protein with 21 vitamins and minerals. And oh my God, I can't believe you guys. And what else do we have? What else do we have?
We got protein shake.
We have some
got
add-ons.
energy teas. We
Yes.
got we got the shots. We
Like
have,
gym shots, yes. Pre-workouts.
We have
Hydration teas
protein
for kids.
bars.
Hydration for kids. And
What's up, bud? What's up? What's up?
And
Good,
good.
good.
Good to see you.
So yeah, come on by. Definitely check out the menu, guys. And yeah, we dropped some gems on you, man.
Yes. Check us out on Instagram and YouTube. And Instagram, check us out on YouTube. Peace and love. We love y'all.
Right.
I'm in the live today. I'm in the
Say hi,
live
bye.
today.
Oh my God.